crying Jehovah.
What's going on, YouTube? How you doing? How you doing? First and foremost, man, I want to thank everyone for the love and support. And like I always say, man, I'll always be humble and thankful for that. And I just want to thank everyone for subscribing to my channel. And before we get started, please hit that subscribe button for your boy. Please hit that subscribe button for your boy. Now, I'm pretty sure y'all been seeing videos of people saying that why Black Americans celebrating Haitians and Trump controlling TPS. Y'all sound like white supremacists. Y'all sound like the people that oppressed y'all. Y'all sound so anti-black. Y'all sound so devilish and hateful and things like that. I know y'all been seeing videos like that. People from all over questioning us why we feel like that. They think it's just some online stuff. Not all Africans, not all Haitians, Mexicans, any immigrant group that come over here be hostile towards us. I would never say that. But there is a select group that have been hostile towards Black Americans. And me as a Black American, I can't ignore that. I can't ignore the stories that people tell me on dealing with these people, especially on these jobs. I don't think people really understand how disingenuous, hostile, messy, turncoats, and snitchy that these people are at these workplaces, or even in college. Let me tell y'all something. I think I told this story before, but I had a college professor when I was going to Jackson State. I had a college professor. She was from Congo. I think she was from Congo. I don't know, but I think she was from Congo or Kenya or Congo, one of those. And she taught math. Now listen, I ain't the greatest math person in the world now, but I ain't also bad either. You get what I'm saying? But I remember, and this was my sophomore year, and I remember how she would do it. She would have like a syllabus, and the syllabus would be everything we'll learn from this semester. So we will already have everything what we have to do. When it's due, when we had midterms, when we had finals, when we had quizzes, all those stuff, it was all scheduled, right? So what she would do, they would do this thing called, like she'll have her assistant, like she'll teach, but her assistant will explain everything better. This particular week, the assistant was out. And her as a professor, she didn't, they got that real strong African accent. So hell, I couldn't understand what she was saying. Maybe everybody else in the class understood what this woman was saying, but I couldn't understand the words she was saying. Meaning, I didn't understand how to do these particular formulas, right? So I would ask her like, hey, can you slow down a little bit? Let me write this down. Or, hey, what does that mean? Or how do I do this? Or can I sit with you after class so you can show me how to do these formulas? Because I really want to pass this class. And I got to pass this class because I don't want to have to pay for this class again. So when I would ask her these questions, she would get an attitude, y'all. I'm talking about she'll scoff at me. She'll be like, well, you didn't learn this in high school. Well, I said, if I learned in high school, I wouldn't be asking you these questions. You know what I'm saying? If I would have understood it in high school, I wouldn't be asking you these questions. So it got to the point where when I raised my hand and asked a question, she wouldn't even acknowledge my hand being up. Now keep in mind, number like 40 of us in this class, and I'm sitting like damn near like second row from the front, so I know she seen my hand, So one day, I got in early, and we were about to take a test, and I want to ask her a question before we take the test, and make sure, just to go over some of the samples that they gave us, so I make sure I do it right before the test. So I get in there, and I say, hey, man, I forgot their helper name too, but I was like, hey, Miss African lady, before we take this test, I want to make sure that this is the correct formula that I put in the calculator. I want to make sure I do everything correctly. You know what this woman told me? She said, I'm so sick of people. Now, she didn't say it like this. She said, I'm just so tired. I said, what you tired of? She said, I'm just tired of you always asking me questions, and you should know. She said, nobody else asking these questions but you. I looked at her. I'm like, well, ma'am, I'm spending a lot of money to take these classes. And you as a professor, you should tell me and teach me how to do this. She said, this is not my job. This is not my job. You shouldn't, no, I would not do that. I said, I got you. It was exactly why I told her I got you, because obviously She didn't know who I was, you know what I'm saying, and who my mama and daddy was. My dad is alumni, my mama's alumni, and my dad has strong connections to Jackson State University, and I was complaining to him about her for a long time. Now my daddy, his mindset was like, you know, you're gonna have assholes teachers, you know, long as they're not doing nothing to impede on your grades, just, you know, go to the tutoring classes, whatever like that. But he also told me, he said, but they do some underhanded slick shit, let me know. So boom, I let my father know. My father contacted some people, one of the deans at the school, cause I ended up taking the test. Now I got like a 79 on the test, but for me, I want to at least get a 90 because I want to keep my GPA at a certain level. Man, so the dean ended up contacting this lady. So that following week, now I didn't know that the dean contacted the lady, but I knew my dad had talked to some people. So I think I had to be back in class that following week on a Tuesday because I was going to that class Tuesday and Thursday. So that Tuesday she wasn't there. Didn't think nothing of it. Thursday she wasn't there. Didn't think nothing of it. So that following week, Tuesday, she was there. So as soon as I walked in, this African lady had a whole different demeanor, whole different attitude. Matter of fact, she let me take the test over. But before she let me take the test over, she said, hey, after class, I will show you how to do these formulas correctly, and I'm going to let you take the test after I show you how to do the formula. I said, bet. And I was that close to cussing that lady out, but some told like, you know what? Let me holler at my mom and daddy right quick. Let me use that. So those one of the experiences that I had to deal with these immigrants, right? I'm gonna tell you something else with these Haitians, especially in South Florida. My South Florida people can attest to this. Now, you'll see a lot of people talking about like this lady, this video I'm finna play right here.
1,000 people in that area lose the ability to legally work and have to move out. That devastates that area. For instance, a lot of the people in Florida, in that area in Florida, are essential workers. A lot of the Haitians who are on TPS are essential workers, meaning they care for the elderly, they care for the sick, they do the essential jobs. Okay, once that population is gone, they're gonna feel it, and there may not necessarily be people to.
Now you heard what this lady said. She was like, one of the main key things that she said was, well, who's gonna do the home health care services if the Haitians are gone in South Florida? Let me tell you some Black Americans about these Haitians that work in the healthcare field. They are not good at what they do. They are not. They lack empathy, sympathy, customer service, niceness, kindness, decorum, anything. Anybody that ever had to deal with a Haitian that was a nurse, a CNA, a home health care aide, or anything, I guarantee y'all have bad experience with those people. Let me tell y'all a quick story. My old lady, grandma, stayed in South Florida, right? So she was telling me that her grandma had to go to the hospital because she fell and she broke her hip. So she went to the hospital, and you know how the nurses be there and stuff. You know, she was in the hospital, so you know how the nurse they got to check on you periodically. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially like when a nurse start their shift. Once they start their shift, they got to check on the patient. So before the shift started, the last nurse, which is a Black American nurse, checked on her grandma, made sure the grandma vitals was straight, everything. I think there was like an hour, maybe 2 hours before before her shift ended. You know, I think about 2 or 3 hours. So when the new shift came, it was a bunch of Haitian women. So her grandma needed something. I don't know if it was something for pain or she needed something. She needed something. But the family was waiting on the nurse to come in to do a check-in, do a follow-through. If my nurses or anybody working in healthcare, y'all know what I'm trying to get to. It was like 2 or 3 hours. Now, it would have been 2 or 3 hours if her mother didn't go and walk up to the nurse's station and ask like, hey, when somebody gonna come check? You know what I'm saying? Because you know, when in the patient room, there's a boy like that who will be your nurse on this shift. That same nurse name was on the shift that left. So the person that started that shift didn't even put her name on there. So that's how you know she didn't check in on her. So her mama went up and down and be like, hey, what's going on? You know, when we gonna get some help? You know, when somebody gonna come in and check on my mother, you know, which is my old lady grandmother. So she said, yeah, somebody's gonna come. So the Haitian nurse must overheard that. I guess she heard the room number. She's like, just listen, just wait. I'm coming. I'll be there. I just got in. Like, no, you didn't just get in. You've been here for 2 hours. You didn't check on my grandmother, and she needs something from you. Why have you not checked in? Oh, I'm coming. So my old lady mama, she off the chain with it. You know, she got slick mouth, but she held back. So from what I understand, 5 minutes roll around, and the lady finally come in. So when you come in, they do the blood pressure and all the other stuff. She said the one was having an attitude, damn near handling her mama wrong and her grandma wrong and shit while she was wrapping it up, because she was wrapping up with I think she had like some tubes in her arm or something, and they wrapped around too, and it hurt her grandma. She said, like, ma'am, what is wrong with you? So the woman just had an attitude like she didn't want to be there, or she didn't want to work with the Black Americans. And they ended up checking her grandma out that hospital and bringing her to another hospital in South Florida, somewhere in Fort Lauderdale. I don't know the name of it. But they had to take her out of there because the grandma wasn't getting treated right by them Haitians. The CNA nurse wouldn't clean up the bathroom. After she showered, they wouldn't clean up the bathroom. They wouldn't get none of the food. Out there, like after she finished eating, they ain't pick up the trays or nothing. The dietary, what we call them people, they didn't pick up none of that. These was Haitians work at these hospitals. Another thing I heard, someone told me about those home aid people that come to your house, like if you got some elderly parents at your house or whatever. They don't be wanting to help the elderly at them houses, man. Them folks be having straight up attitudes. How you gonna get mad at someone that don't have cause they supposed to clean up. Like if an elderly people, they supposed to clean up the house and stuff, tidy it up, or take the elderly people where they need to go to, in a couple hours that they're there. Why these Haitian women act like it's a crime when cause it's like a manual mop, them old school mops where you gotta wrench it out with your hand and stuff. The lady got upset, act like she ain't want a mop. Like, no, you need to buy you a new mop before I do it. Man, shout out to the person over there, but they end up calling somebody and say, listen, you got a home healthcare aide here that's being very hostile, very mean, and very snobbish. Y'all need to talk to her. You know what I'm saying? So I guess the Haitian lady got a call. She got upset a little bit and talking that whatever language they be speaking out there, that Haitian language. And the girl just left, walked out and left. These how these people are, bro. And people think we crazy because we be kind of happy that a lot of these people are gone. It just is what it is. And the nepotism that they do out here. I'm pretty sure y'all see where y'all from, wherever you from, where there's a lot of immigrants, especially here in Texas, where they'll corner a certain market. Like let's use the hotel for example. You see like a lot of Black Americans work at these hotels. Now you see, especially in Texas, none but Mexicans work here. From what I heard is that, especially in this industry, in the hotel and lodging industry out here, these Mexicans start off as maintenance folks or housekeepers or whatever like that. And let's say there's Black people, even white people that's working there. These Mexicans would turn on them. They would turn on them. Like they'll say, well, this person came in late, or this person didn't clean up this room, or this person didn't do maintenance in this room, knowing they did it, but they'll make it seem like it was just something worse than what it was. You get what I'm saying? And so as these people getting pushed out, or these people just quitting because of the harassment and the blatant, guess what these Mexicans do? They hire their family members. They hire their cousins. They hire their friends. They hire all these Mexicans to work there. And then when a Black person or a white person try to apply for a job, you can't even get the damn job up there. You just can't. So that's another thing. Let me tell my Black people this too. I remember at one point in time, Black folks used to tell me, like, let's say I'm about to get a job interview, and a Black person would be like an elderly Black person or a Black person with some game would tell me, like, Brian, listen now, when this Black person get you a job, be thankful for it, and don't make them look crazy, blah, 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 blah. and that's what we'll do. But the thing is, if you a black person in HR, you gotta be unfair. You gotta hire your own people, bro. I ain't saying put your job on the line and hire unqualified people with no type of sense and no type of direction. But even if you do hire an unqualified person, you can train them how you want them to be. You can train these people how you want them to be. Trust me, I had plenty of jobs that I was not qualified for education, where I didn't have no experience in that. I lied. I lied on my resume. I lied on my resume. But they trained me on how to use their software, how to use their system, how things work, all that stuff. If we can do that for our people to get in these certain jobs, I ain't talking about medical field or law. I ain't talking about like being a doctor or a nurse. I get you got to be certified and then you got to know what you're doing. But there are certain office jobs, corporate jobs where you can get your people in, and you know that, man, get them in because these Mexicans are doing it, man. These Indians are doing it. These Asians are doing it. They are doing it. These Asians, these Hispanics are giving their friends $80,000 to $100,000 jobs, and these people don't know what the fuck to do. They don't have the education for it, the experience for it, or anything like that. But black HR people, they want to go by the book. They don't want, man, nah, F that. Put us in, coach. Put your people in. I ain't talking about people that ain't gonna work, but I'm just saying, like, if the resume look good, they might not have the experience. Y'all gonna train them anyway. It just it. That's just point blank. I'm talking about I had all types of jobs, y'all, and I didn't have a lick of experience wasn't in my field that I went to school for or anything. I'm talking about corporate jobs, paying me like $70 to $100K a year, easy. But I knew they was gonna train me. When I figured that out, I'm like, hold on. Oh, they gonna train me how to do this. Oh, they gonna teach me how to do it. I just need to catch on to the game. So it's gonna take me about a month or two. Once I really get out of training, it's gonna take me about a month or two to catch on, act like I know what I'm doing. We need to do that, yo. We need to do that, man, because these people are doing it. But anyway, what are y'all thoughts? Tell me y'all stories about dealing with these people, even at the workplace, in real life, your neighbors or whatever. Tell us some of your experiences dealing with these groups that come over here. And once again, we already know how white folks are at the job. We understand the microaggressions. We understand the pettiness that these white people do. Totally understand it. Totally get it. 100. I agree. But it's another thing when you're dealing with these immigrant groups that come over here, and they most definitely try to undermine you and run to the white folks and tell them what you ain't doing and what you should be doing and what they should do to you. Alright, so anyway, y'all have a good one. Y'all have a great day. Tomorrow, hopefully we get the birthright citizenship decision. But anyway, let me know how everything went. Let me know what was your dealings with some of these immigrants at your job or just in real life. Peace out.